Did you know a balloon in Bluey moves before it's even kicked? A mom grows a second arm out of nowhere, and cherry tomatoes multiply themselves back onto a plate, all without the show ever admitting it? Welcome back to Bluey Peppa. Today we're breaking down 13 impossible animation mistakes that somehow made it to air. But first, if you think you can catch these before we explain them, drop a paw prints in the comments. And if you want more hidden secrets like these, make sure you're subscribed. Number 1. The balloon that moves itself. Mum School. Bluey walks through the living room with Chili following behind her, and she kicks a yellow balloon along the way. Watch the exact frame where her foot makes contact. The balloon is already moving before her foot actually reaches it, not right as she kicks it, not a frame after, before. Either the balloon anticipated the hit, or someone animated the impact and the reaction on two separate timelines that don't quite sync up. It's a tiny gap, less than half a second, but it's exactly the kind of timing mismatch that happens when the object's physics simulation runs slightly ahead of the character animation driving it. Number 2, the moonwalk slide. Same scene, same balloon kick, and a second error follows immediately after the first. Right after Bluey kicks the balloon, her feet slide across the living room rug in a smooth, gliding motion that looks almost exactly like a moonwalk. It's not how a kid's follow-through after a kick should look. There's no natural stumble, no foot placement change, just a clean slide that looks like the character model is being dragged rather than walking. 2 errors, back to back, in the same 3 seconds of footage, which makes this single shot one of the most error-dense moments in the entire show. Number 3, the coin that vanishes. Bus. Bluey and Bingo are pretending to be an old granny and her passenger, and when they climb aboard Bandit's imaginary bus, Bingo tosses a handful of coins at him. Look closely at the ground right after they land. There are 7 coins scattered there. A few moments later, in the very same shot, only 6 coins remain. One of them is just gone, with no character reaching down to pick it up, unless Bingo secretly pocketed one without anyone noticing. This is a straightforward prop count error, the kind that happens when scattered background objects get redrawn slightly differently between 2 consecutive shots without anyone cross-checking the total. Number 4, the tomatoes that multiply. Favorite thing. Bingo has 4 cherry tomatoes on her plate. She tries to grab one with her fork, and it goes wrong. One tomato falls off the table, another flies off and lands on Bandit's head. That should leave 2 tomatoes remaining on the plate, but when the camera cuts back to Bingo's plate from a different angle moments later, there are 4 tomatoes sitting there again, as if the 2 that flew away were never removed in the first place. We're calling this one tomato multiplication, because there's no other explanation for cherry tomatoes regenerating themselves mid-meal. Out of everything on this list, this might be the funniest to actually watch happen in real time, because the 2 tomatoes leaving the plate is such a clear, deliberate animation beat that the reset afterward feels almost too obvious to be an accident. Number 5, the ladybug that grows a spot. This one took an enormous amount of frame-by-frame scrubbing to catch, and it might be the smallest error on this entire list. There's a background ladybug that appears briefly in one scene. Zoom into it, and it has 3 spots on its back. Cut to a slightly different angle a moment later, and it now has 4 spots. It's a tiny prop on screen for barely a few seconds, and yet somehow the spot count still doesn't match between 2 consecutive shots. If our team can catch a single extra dot on a background bug that's barely visible for 2 seconds. Number 6, the arm that duplicates. Pass the parcel. Lucky's dad is running the game, except he's changed the rules, and based on the other parents' reactions, they are not thrilled about it. Zoom in on Jasper's mom during this scene, and her hand looks distinctly wrong. She appears to have 2 arms on the exact same side of her body at once. It looks like the animators either forgot to delete an earlier arm position or accidentally duplicated the limb layer while adjusting her pose. Background characters like Jasper's mom often get less attention during quality checks than the main cast, which is probably exactly how a mistake this visible slipped all the way to broadcast. Number 7, the wrapping paper that unwraps itself. Christmas. Every member of the Healer family opens their presents one by one, and when it's Muffin's turn, something strange happens to her gift. The package starts off properly wrapped, complete with all the expected folds and creases in the paper. As she tears into it, look at the side of the box. The wrapping folds simply vanish between one frame and the next, with no visual explanation, as if the paper texture just stopped rendering mid-tier. It's a strange one because wrapping paper folds are a static texture detail, not something that should update dynamically as a character interacts with the object. Number 8. The eyebrows that disappear. Space. This is one of the most emotional episodes in the entire show, dealing with Mackenzie's fear that his family left him behind at the playground. In the middle of this heavy moment, when Jack and Rusty are walking Mackenzie back to his imaginary spaceship, take a look at his face. His eyebrows are completely missing. Every other scene in the episode shows his eyebrows in their normal place. For this one specific shot, they're gone entirely, which is a strange detail to slip through in an episode this emotionally important. Space deals with one of the heavier storylines storylines in the whole series, and it's almost ironic that in the middle of such a carefully written emotional beat, a purely technical animation slip is what ends up standing out on rewatch. Number 9, the invisible upper body. The pool. This one's a bit more debatable, so we want your take in the comments. Chili is shown using a floatable device in the water, and through it, her legs and tail are completely visible, which would make sense if the floatable were transparent. The issue is that the upper half of her body isn't visible at all through the exact same object, only the lower half. If the floatable is meant to be see-through, it should be consistent across her entire body, not selectively transparent depending on which part of her is behind it. Tell us in the comments if you think this counts as an actual error or just an intentional design choice we're overanalyzing. Number 10, the eyelashes that come and go. Seesaw, Bluey and Bingo are trying to beat Bandit, who's too heavy for the seesaw to budge on his own, so they start calling in friends for backup. When they call over Coco, she's clearly shown with a pair of eyelashes. Moments later, when they call Pom Pom to help as well, the camera cuts back to Coco, and her eyelashes are simply gone, with no scene showing them being removed. They don't reappear again for the rest of that sequence, which makes this one of the cleaner disappearing detail errors on the list, since most vanishing detail mistakes on this show tend to correct themselves within a shot or two. Number 11, the eye that closes backward. Camping. The whole family is gathered around a campfire with Uncle Stripe's family roasting marshmallows. During this cozy scene, watch Stripe as he closes his eyes. One of them closes completely normally, but the other one closes in the opposite direction, almost like it's inverted or upside down compared to the rest of his face. It happens in the blink of an eye, which might honestly be the most fitting way for this specific error to hide itself, given that the entire mistake is about an eye behaving exactly backward from how it should. Number 12, the face that changes color through glass. Takeaway. While Bandit, Bluey, and Bingo wait outside the restaurant, they can see the restaurant employee through the front window while she prepares their order. Through the glass, her face reads as almost completely white. Moments later, when she steps outside with the food in hand, her face is no longer white at all. It's now a shade much closer to her actual ear color. Same character, same lighting conditions, same short amount of time passing, and yet her face reads as two completely different colors depending on whether there's glass between her and the camera. It's the kind of error that only makes sense if two separate art passes were used for the same character without matching their color values first. Number 13, the crocodile that teleports. Phones. Bluey and Bingo want to play restaurant with Grandpa Mort using a modern twist, ordering food through a pretend app on a makeshift cardboard phone. As Grandpa joins the fun under a small tent made from various household objects, keep your eyes on the background near the box. A small green crocodile toy appears and disappears repeatedly throughout the scene, popping in and out of existence inside the cardboard structure with no consistent placement from shot to shot, as if it's being physically moved between takes and nobody remembered exactly where it belonged. That's 13 mistakes that go beyond simple fur glitches or missing props. These are errors that genuinely break the internal logic of the scene, from tomatoes that regenerate to a balloon that moves before it's touched to an arm that duplicates out of nowhere. Out of everything we've covered across this entire animation error series, this batch might be the hardest to explain away as a simple rendering hiccup because so many of them involve things that shouldn't be physically possible even by animation standards. Which impossible mistake got you the most? The balloon that moves early, or the tomatoes that multiply back onto the plate? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you've spotted an error this list missed, tell us the episode and the exact moment. This wraps our full Bluey animation error breakdown for now, but if this series performs the way we think it will, a part 5 digging even deeper is already on the table.